Exactly 10 years ago, here in Bonn, the international community first embarked on its mission to stabilize and rebuild Afghanistan. There's still a long way to go, but the 10th anniversary is an occasion to chart the progress made. For these young Afghan journalists, their very presence here is testimony of how far their country has come.
Bonn Conference has a good reputation in Afghanistan because of the Petersburg Conference 10 years ago. So we think that laid the foundation for the country, and a lot of Afghans think there will be a second opportunity to lay another foundation, or probably the second layer of our engagement, Afghanistan's international community engagement. But there are some concerns as well, that how we're going to establish that, how our relationship would look like, when our military effort is coming to an end, how our civilian, cooperation would look like.
Lutfullah Najafizadeh is the head of current affairs at Tolo News, one of more than 50 private TV stations in Afghanistan. The 25-year-old remembers listening to the first Bonn Conference on the BBC World Service at a time where there were no TV or radio stations based in his country.
Most Afghans now enjoy more freedom, peace and security than at any time in the past 30 years. We have learned that there is no military solution. There can be only a political solution. We are now reaching a crucial turning point. The withdrawal of troops has begun. By the end of 2014, international combat forces will have left the country.
Speaking to more than 100 delegations from around the world, UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon also highlighted some of the achievements.
Over the past decade, our work has made a difference. Together, we have supported the return of 4.6 million Afghan refugees. We have enrolled 7.3 million more children in school and helped to deliver better health care.
Afghanistan's President Hamid Karzai said his country would need support for at least another decade to come.
Starting from a dismal baseline 10 years ago, our economy has seen tremendous growth as our GDP has almost tripled. I hasten to say, however, the challenges that remain are significant and have the potential to derail our progress and reverse our achievements.
The international community answered Karzai's call for continued support in Bonn by pledging that it will not abandon Afghanistan. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton made the concrete announcement that the US would end a freeze on hundreds of millions of dollars in development funds due to financial reforms of the Afghan government. But the international community also urged Afghanistan to tackle corruption, enforce the rule of law, and pursue a reconciliation process in which all parties renounce violence and endorse the new constitution.
It was a very clear message to the Afghan people that there should be a mutual agreement and a mutual promise. So more push on the Afghan government to deliver services and do a lot, to tackle corruption and so on.
NATO's senior civilian representative, Ambassador Simon Gass, told the Afghan journalists that the second Bonn Conference was the occasion on which the international community accepted that for some time to come it would have to pay the lion's share of the cost of the Afghan security forces. They are set to increase to over 350,000 by the end of 2014.
I meet a lot of agreement on one fundamental point. And that is that whatever happens, we are not going to go back to the dark days of 1993 when there was civil war in Afghanistan. And I think that that determination is very real, and therefore I don't myself regard this as an eventuality which is at all likely.
By the end of the conference, Lutfullah and his colleagues have witnessed a strong display of solidarity with their country. Not all of his questions have been answered, but Lutfullah says he's optimistic that more concrete pledges will follow.
The outcome of the conference is, it still needs to be determined, that how it's going to basically shape. It has built up two other conferences, the Tokyo one and the one in Kabul, to follow up. So those would be more technical in terms of, the shape of the strategic partnership between Afghanistan and the international community.
Lord Fuller understands the world is in a deep financial crisis. He says now is the time for his country to work on a strategy to advance its own economy. But he knows that there is still a long way to go before Afghanistan can stand on its own 2 feet. I'm Mike Mühlberger reporting from Bonn for the NATO channel.